It's hard for me to think she was describing me, but thank you so much for those kind words. Really, Swati, you did such a nice job sort of laying out my professional trajectory. So I'm going to focus my comments on the learnings I've had in my leadership journey that I want to be able to share with you. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge all of the leaders here in the class of 2025, those that have gone before me, and the young leaders that are in this room today. Because if there is ever an illustration that leadership comes in many shapes and textures, this is it. Look at how different we are. Look at what we bring to the world. What we have in common is a sense of commitment and a purpose larger than our own well-being. My career, as Swati said, has been dedicated to improving the lives of young children. And it was really born out of my own experience of being in a classroom, not understanding why I was learning what I was learning and what purpose it would serve in my life. And I said to my parents one day, there's got to be a better way to do this. And my dad said, well, maybe that's your call. And that's what led me then to really think about what is child development, how do children learn and grow, and how does that form the foundation for what happens for children later. I owe a deep debt of gratitude to all of the places that have allowed me to grow as a leader. So I'm just going to name it very short, because I've actually had the fortune of staying many years in a few places. So it's not a long list, but I owe gratitude to the Massachusetts Department of Education for hiring me to do anti-racism training in Boston, for working in the Boston Public Schools to do anti-racism training. And then the Clayton Foundation, now Clayton Early Learning, where I was there for about 17 years. And then the David and Lucille Packard Foundation, where I completed a little more than 16 years, thinking about strategic and responsive philanthropic investments. Through this journey of mine, I've had the opportunity to implement programs, design strategic and responsive grant-making philanthropy, build a big tent to co-create advocacy strategies for building competent systems to serve public good. And there are 4 reflections over this time that I want to be able to share with you. One is, as leaders, we must respect the work we do, the colleagues we work with, and the communities we serve. They are our greatest asset, and if we do not center them, we are actually going to take the wrong steps forward. It will become a self-serving journey as opposed to a journey of service. The second important learning for me is to be truthful to yourself and others. It is really crucial that leaders know themselves, that they know what makes them tick, that they know what their Achilles heel is. And surround yourself with people who have complementary or maybe even very different skills that complement you. Do not be threatened by it, because the 5 fingers of a hand, each finger is different. You actually cannot use your hand if you lose any one of them, right? So this is really the way to think about how you build your leadership team, and it has served me well to surround myself with people who know more than I do several things better than I do. The other thing is really have every leader understand what it means to pay attention to both the forest and the trees. Almost every management book you read will tell you to stay focused, will tell you to really think about what your core business is, but in the social sector, it is crucially important to understand the ecosystem in which you are trying to move this work and the influence that your particular line of work has on the rest of the ecosystem and vice versa. And particularly in early childhood, it is important for us to know and understand that other sector leaders must see the value of what it means to give kids a really strong start. Because whether it's college bound, whether it's holding down a job, it's achieving economic security, the roots and the foundations of that resilience is built in the early years. And so please, I think, pay attention to the forest and the trees. And finally, be clear and uncompromising about the impact you seek to achieve. Because in the social sector, change is incremental, we can get ourselves satisfied with a level of incremental change and forget to actually pay attention to the final destiny. And in leaders, it is your responsibility to really think, and it's our collective responsibility to never lose sight of that final goal and the impact we want to achieve. And be really steadfast in that, hold that up, because the teams that you lead have to focus on what's in front of them today, but it is our job as a leader to lift that up every now and then and say, hey, that's the destination. So these are the four, as I thought about my remarks today, I wanted to be able to share what it is that I have learned and things that have guided me as I've moved forward. I want to recognize everyone at table 13 and all of my early childhood partners who are in the room today, because I could not be who I am or have had this journey that I've had without the community around me. So thank you all for what you do and how you do it. Thank you so much. We'll do a picture.